At the vineyard.
I love it. Okay. Speaking of planting the vineyard, sowing the seeds, let's talk about these seeds, these 5 babies, because how the hell are you doing all of this with 5 children?
You know,
and a whole husband.
I don't have an answer, honestly. I think I make things work. I see what I have and I try to make it work. That's all I do. And, I was previously married. So I have 2 kids that live with dad.
Okay.
But we're like literally 3 minutes away from each other, right? So I think the way I'm able to do it with all the challenges that I have coming with being a parent is letting go.
Hard. How do you do that?
Well, like the co-parenting thing, right? Some people would say, well, why would you let your daughters live? But I understood how vital my dad's role was in my life, right? So I can hold on to that and I can do the custody and the this and the that. And I was just like, no, we're going to make this as easy as possible. We're going to stay close to each other and we're still going to be present. But I think me letting go of trying to fit into what society says a woman and a mom should be, like, I don't really care what people say a mom should be. I'm doing what works for me and I'm doing what works for my kids. And every single child needs something different.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I think once I released myself of trying to be the helicopter mom, trying to be the mommy and me mom, like, I'm not her. I
really wanted to be her. It's hard.
No.
It's so hard.
I'm not her, and that's okay. But what I've seen is the mommy and me mom, she lacks identity sometimes.
Everything gets lost in that. Yeah.
Yeah, like people say, I'm a mom first. Well, I'm not a mom first. I'm a woman first. Because before I was a mom, I was a woman. Before I was a wife, I was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, my identity is so into who God is telling me to be, and all the other things are accessories, And so that's how I look at it. People don't look at it that's fine, but it allows me to freely go out and build what it is that I'm trying to build, knowing that I'm positioning my children for what they want. Because, like, my 2 daughters, they're daddy's girls. Why would I fight that?
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to fight that.
Because you could be selfish like a lot of other people are because they want to hold on so tight.
For what?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I just don't subscribe to that. Like,
you know what first drew me to you? Because Anissa and I are part of a mastermind together, and I don't know how old my son was when I first started coming to the meetings, but homegirl pulled up with the baby stroller in the meeting, was taking the baby out, was nursing the baby in the meeting, and I was just like, this is the epitome of, I don't have no excuses.
None.
I'm showing up for myself.
Every time.
Baby, you just gonna get in, you gonna fall in line, and y'all gonna deal with it. I mean, the sweetest baby, she didn't make
quiet.
a peep. She was quiet. She didn't make a peep. You wouldn't know she was there if you didn't see her. But I just felt like, wow.
Yeah.
That to me was like, nobody in this room has an excuse because homegirl showed up with this baby from California. Yeah. I still don't know how you was doing that long ass flight with that baby, but you were doing it. You've done it so many times.
I don't know. Like, I still don't have answers.
You just do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I just do it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so last question before we get into the game. Advice for a woman out there who is divorced, is feeling like she's, losing faith in finding a husband, doesn't know how to get back out there. What's your advice?
I always tell people, like, if you get so busy working on becoming the woman that someone would marry, like, you don't really have nothing to worry. Like, I've never had a problem finding a husband. Like, never, ever. Because I wasn't really, my identity is not in that. I know that whatever man that's with me, he's going to get something really great, because before I even met my husband, I was working on Anissa. I met my husband in Africa, and I had no intentions on being married again, but I did ask God specifically for some things. So I think being very specific about what you want, and not letting your past kind of, because people will say, I don't want this. No, I said what I wanted right?
Ooh, say it again.
Yes,
Stop focusing on what you don't want.
Yeah, because you'll get out of a relationship and you're constantly talking about what it wasn't, what he wasn't. It's like, he gone, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And to be just straight up, I mean, my ex-husband would probably still remarry me. Like, I feel like I'm just saying, like, I feel like I am the table. So I don't feel like someone is completing me. I feel like we are bringing together. So I think shifting, really understanding your identity as a woman could be a huge asset to the next relationship. Not taking your past into your present, and then stating what you want. Is it going to be perfect? No. I mean, I have a husband from a whole country. The way that he looks at things is just completely different. But that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need someone to think like me. It's challenging sometimes, but I mean, it has opened other doors that I would have never, and I see the world differently because of him too. So I would say identity is key, knowing who you are. And that's what I talk about, the profitable Proverbs 31. And then the second thing I would say is don't look for him. Just be her. Start working on, I had this lady tell me like, well, I just want a husband. I said, well, what you going to do with him? That was my question. What are you going to do with him? I said, do you know how to cook? Like, what are you, after having sex with him, what do you bring to the table? She had no answer. I said, that's what you need to work on. You need to be so busy.
Ooh, she ain't want to hear that, did she?
No, she didn't like it. But you need to be so busy working on yourself. Like, when he comes, you ready. You're not sitting there like, I wish somebody, like, I'm not a person that is like, position yourself for a man. No, just be her. Like, be the woman that is so irresistible that a man is like,
I gotta have
Can I just
her.
say this, Corey? Like, I had 3 kids when I met my husband. And in his culture, to be a divorced woman with kids is like a no-no, right? But I told God I didn't want a man with kids. And I was, like my mom said, know your limitations. And I didn't want a man with kids because I knew that I would not be good to some other people's kids. Like, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to focus on
enough to know that.
I know. So it's, be aware of yourself. Like, don't settle. And settling doesn't mean that person is bad, but know what you can handle. I don't want a man with kids. And they're like, well, you have kids. How are you going to say? It's not going to work. So I married a man who didn't have kids, and he went totally against his culture. But I'm sure, I mean, listen, when you got to be her.
You gotta be
Just
her.
work on being her.
Work on being her. Stop looking for the man and become the woman.